Steve Merrill back here with a big game breakdown and free play for you in the NBA show on Thursday. And don't forget, the All-Star break starts after tonight. These teams will be off for the next week. So it's an interesting handicapping and scheduling dynamic. And I think it's a situation we're going to go a little contrarian to an angle I would normally use in the late game between the Timberwolves and Blazers. Normally when we have a quick rematch from just a couple days earlier, we look to zigzag, play kind of the opposite side or the opposite total. And first game, the Timberwolves won on Tuesday by double digits and covered, and it easily soared over the total by about 15 points. But I'd be careful taking the zigzag approach in this game. And once again, I like Minnesota to win by margin and win by double digits. And there's a couple reasons why. Minnesota, the most efficient defensive team in the league this season, all year long, last 10 games, full season, whatever metric you want to look at, the T-Wolves have been the best defensive team in the league. Once again, holding an opponent to below 115 points. They've done so more than anybody, held the Blazers to just 109. And Portland is the second worst offensive team. Out of 30 teams, they're ranked 29th this year in offensive efficiency. So it's a complete mismatch. And even with that, the Blazers still shot 45% and 38% from three, 80% from the free throw line, and still lost by 12 points on Tuesday night. Now, normally you'd say maybe this is a flat spot. We have the All-Star break coming up. Well, I think it is a flat spot, but for the home underdog for a couple reasons. First of all, Portland's now lost 5 straight games. They're having a miserable season as they stand just 15 and 38. They're looking forward to their 1-week vacation. Meanwhile, Minnesota is a team on the rise, 38 and 16. They've won 3 in a row straight up and against the spread on this current 5-game road trip. They lost at Chicago, and then they won at Milwaukee, the Clippers, and the Blazers the other night. And since they have a week coming off, they have no reason not to finish strong and go full throttle tonight. Now, we do have to keep an eye on the injury report as Anthony Edwards is questionable like he was for the last game, but he did not have any injury in the last game because he put up 41 points in 34 minutes. And the fact that they have the next week off, I don't see why they would sit Edwards. If we look at the line, it's gone 9, but it's 9 minus 115 in some of the sharper books as of Thursday afternoon. So it looks like he is playing. Either way, though, I like the Timberwolves in this game as they're the superior team, especially on the defensive side. And I think they do stay focused even with the All-Star break coming up. And by the way, the flat spot isn't this game for Portland. It should have been theoretically the Tuesday night game in which they still won and covered because they just beaten the Clippers on the road the night before on Monday and beaten the Bucks a few days before that as well. So the fact they won and covered on the Tuesday game, that was the flat spot. And I think that's why Portland did shoot a little bit better than expected. I'm going to look for that to happen again tonight. Minnesota Timberwolves minus the 9 points is the only way I would play it at 10 o'clock Eastern, the final game before the All-Star break over the next week. Hey, don't forget, we're talking NBA, but there's a ton of college basketball, and that's where the money will be made the rest of this week into the weekend. I've got 2 strong college basketball best bets tonight on Thursday. Check out the 2-for-1 special, ranked number 1 in college and pro basketball sides combined since the seasons began in October. And I've got 2 strong college best bets tonight on Thursday. And if you're interested in winning consistently, being part of that number 1 basketball service each and every day, I highly recommend the buy one, get one special that's still available this week. You don't have to choose between college and pro basketball. You buy one, you get the other for free instantly because it's an instant half price on the basketball combo for both college and pro basketball, a full 30 days and nights for just over $3 a play. No promo code needed. Check that out along with daily free plays on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And, of course, get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM.
This is Ralph Michaels, and this is my NBA best bet for Thursday, February the 15th. Guys, if you check out the leaderboard at WagerTalk.com, number 1 the last 7 days. We have a great end of the month special. $149 will get you all my plays. Now, this is not an actual release. I normally like giving you an actual release here on the shows. A very limited card with only 3 games today, and it's the All-Star break. But I wanted to take a look at some situations. I'm going to look at Milwaukee and Memphis. Milwaukee's minus 11.5. Now, it's rare that you have a team in first place in your division and they make a coaching change. We've seen what's happened. And guess what? Doc Rivers came in and could not change this team into a winning program. You look since the 29th of January, they only have 3 wins. They beat Dallas, they beat Charlotte, and they beat Denver. They lost their last game against Miami. Not only did they lose, they lost by 26 points. They lost at home against Minnesota. They lost at Phoenix. They lost at Utah. And they lost at Portland, which was a horrible loss back a few weeks ago. But if you see, that was a very difficult schedule they played. Now we have a Memphis team actually off a win as a dog. The Memphis team we know is depleted. Without Morant, they really didn't have the leadership. They made some trades. They have some more depth now, and they've actually covered back-to-back games, covering against New Orleans as a 9.5 point dog, and then beating Houston 121 to 113 last night as a 3 point dog. But when I break down these teams and the matchups and look at them going into the All Star break, I went to the database. Teams first with no rest against a rested opponent that's a home dog from game 27 and later. Well, why is game 27 and later important? Well, that's because you're later into the season, you have some attrition on injuries, and you're a little more tired. Those home dogs with no rest against a rested opponent are 42.7%. When I look at how teams do off a win as a dog against a team off a loss as a favorite, well, if the team is an away favorite like Milwaukee, off a loss as a favorite, those teams have covered 61.6%. And guess what? The Grizzlies with no rest, 0-5 straight up, 1-4 ATS, 1-8 over under. I also found a situation where if a team is on the road, off a road loss, and an away favorite before the All Star break, that's been a 64% trend as well. So, yes, I understand Milwaukee's been an incredible, ugly favorite, but I think they regroup here. They know they're going to have a few days off. They know they're going into the All Star break. I am going to back the Bucks here minus the 11.5.